All right, welcome to Thursday. The UAW Gauntlet is laid. We're talking about that today. We've been talking about that, waiting for it to happen. But also talking about two icons return. Two different stories, two different industries, two different icons.
The people really want to know who I is and who
Two for Tuesday, Thursday.
First of all, I can't wait for this first story because it's like it reminds me of the meme where the dude just like walks past like.
Oh yeah.
So we'll get there. We'll get there.
Oh yeah, that'll be the meme if they actually get it, which they won't.
Exactly.
It'll be an interesting story.
Hey, yesterday. So
I
don't know if the people know this. If you weren't following on the gram or on the LinkedIn, we were in Baltimore. Final walkthrough of the ASOTU CON venue. Which, look, if you only come for like the first hour of the thing, the energy around just walking in the space is going to be nuts. Our team, they're like walking us through. I love it because, historically it's always been like Paul and me going, hey, what if we, and our team is walking us through. They're like, we're going to do this little activation and this little activation. Paul and I were like okay. Little kids in a candy shop.
Okay.
Like, that sounds great. Let's do it. But we're halfway through. And I get a FaceTime from my man, Colby Joyner. This dude just loves to FaceTime people out of the blue. He's with the Cavender Auto Group. He's been, a couple different places. And if you don't know him, just a great all around guy. And we're chatting and he's like, I'm coming. And I've talked to, a couple other people about coming. And I had this revelation in the moment. And I had no clue that Kelly was recording me when I said this.
It was great.
But I said, so many people, they'll send one or two people from an organization to an event. And I know travel, expenses, time away from store, all of those are major things. But the difficult part, and he said, that it's a 700 person organization, which is like a mid-sized organization when it comes to dealer groups. The ability to enact change at an organizational level from things that you might hear at an event when it's only one or two people kind of beating the drum is extremely tough. And we had this like candid conversation that got caught on video. So you can find it on LinkedIn or Instagram. This candid conversation about just how you need a small critical mass to really enact change. We even had a couple industry partners last year that were like, hey, we need to send 6 people because there was actually one industry partner last year that sent 6 people. They said, we're not even interested in like the sales game. We're not even trying to pick that up. But we know that after every session, we're going to have to go away and have a conversation, the 6 of us, so that we make sure we know what it looks like for us to go home and do this well. So like, just think about that as an org. Like, what's the value of sending 1 or 5 or 6 people, and how much can you impact the organization the more critical mass you have in an event, like whether it's a ASOTU CON or NADA or any of these.
So we're shaping up topics right now. I know that's a big question that a lot of people have. You can see the speaker list at ASOTUCON.com, which is it's just a partial speaker list. Already have over 1,000 rooftops represented and growing every day. Topics are going to include things like tech recruiting, CDPs and data, going to include things like how do we move toward a retail buying experience? Maybe if you're struggling with one price or considering, we're going to have experts and people who have done it. This is going to be a place where you actually meet the people who are doing the things that you are trying to do or considering doing or want to do better. Those conversations are happening. Get your tickets now, because you want to also be able to book in the main hotel before the rooms are gone, and it's discounted this month too. So we'll do that. Let's get into some news. We got a lot of stuff going on today. A lot of things to do. So here's what Kyle was talking about at the beginning of the show. The players are all on the field now as the UAW President Shawn Fain has announced the union's intention to pursue what some are calling an audacious set of proposals. I think most people call it that, from the Detroit's Big Three. He calls it the, quote, most ambitious contract demands in decades, including double-digit wage gains, restoration of pensions, and improved benefits for retirees. Also, buckle your seatbelt, pun intended, they're pushing for a reduced 32-hour work week in manufacturing.
What?
Trigger pad coming. Yes.
What?
I mean, I don't know if this is the part where like we're gonna just like the old like Donald Trump negotiating tactic. We're gonna like say something so ridiculous
Just
so that
lie,
wherever we back up to is still a really good place. So Fain emphasized that if the automakers want to celebrate their record profits, and did we have a picture of this article where he's in front of all like the billboards? I don't know if we do, if we don't, but yeah, there you go. He's sitting in front of two like old school like foam core boards on a tripod, and it's like news headline clips. GM earnings soar from CNN. Stellantis new record profits. Ford Q2 profits soar. So he's like, hey, if you want to brag about profits, you should be prepared for record contracts. Stellantis is saying, hey, we're definitely looking to. They use the word collaborate. I like that. They've been watching our stuff.
That's good.
Really. While also emphasizing the need, like, hey, we want to have a globally competitive company that pays globally competitive wages. And so this one's going to be a thing. The current contract expires September 14th.
Man,
right before ASOTU CON.
Right before ASOTU CON. Everybody's like
a couple conversations there.
Like, no more inventory. They stopped working. What's happened?
We'll be all right.
We've known that the shots fired were coming, as we started to hear in July, the Q2 reports and the UAW talking about the potential of a strike. And so I'm not surprised by this, but like the screenshot putting the articles behind you, like
we knew that was coming. We talked about it.
Cold.
We've been
blooded.
Oh, so we've been talking about that. Like it's gonna be a little awkward, right?
Look at this troublemaker. He's
like, want to make it awkward? Let's make it awkward.
You want to make it awkward? Well,
tell me you're broke. Tell me you're broke.
Yeah. Tell me you're broke right now, and we'll figure this out. No, this is, and we talked about this earlier this week, that the balance between moving to EV and understanding that record profits are happening on the ICE side and trying to balance, manufacturing and reducing expenses as the transition in both research and development and manufacturing move into EV cycles is just going to be something that manufacturers continue to struggle with. But kudos to the union for just paying attention to the news, and leveraging that. And here's the thing, like you look at the thing, like wage gains. Wages are up across every industry, and unions have to fight for that every few years. It's not something that like just because of profitability or anything like that is just happening. That's the like downfall of having a union, right? It's this like cycle of fighting for wage increases that isn't just demanded personally by the people. So that makes complete sense. Restoration of pensions and improved benefits for retirees. Hey, look, that's like, why wouldn't you want to take care of your people? And so if I had to guess, the big three are probably going to look at this and be like, okay, we got you. We see you. There's going to be a little bit of negotiations. We'll probably see a couple weeks of strike just because that's the way you leverage your best negotiation. And then we'll be right back on it.
Here we go. Kyle seems pretty certain. We'll see.
I'm certain. Speaking of being right back on it.
Oh yeah.
Stop.
We can do
Segue.
That. The internet is abuzz with the iconic Toyota Land Cruiser as it stages its comeback. I'm excited. I drive a Land Cruiser. Discontinued in the United States in 2021. It's making a grand return with the 2024 model that exudes retro charm. Now, I've never seen a vehicle before. We'll talk. I'll get to this in a minute. The transformation's marked by it's a little bit smaller, and it's going to have a hybrid version, which is an improvement. I can vouch for it when it says the iconic poor fuel efficiency of the vehicle. It's disgustingly bad. Like it's got this big V8 in it, and it's like 12 to 14 miles a gallon if the wind's behind you and you're going downhill. The new design shares its architecture with other Toyota models, so it's starting to look more like the lineup, like the Sequoia, the Tacoma, the Tundra. It also looks very similar to that Lexus GX that they released a little while ago. That really cool. And the Lexus GX has definitely an edge on it, but it's still wider than the old 200 series. And, it's also probably the biggest thing people are talking about. It's affordability. It's $30,000 less than the 200 series that was out. And, so there's a couple things. One really interesting thing is that you can order different headlight packages. I haven't seen that much. Oh yeah. So like
I missed
different trims.
Part of the announcement.
Yeah. So like one of them is like very retro, like round looking headlights.
Yeah.
But that's something I haven't seen. And like Toyota's keeping it interesting. I do wonder though, how
that's interesting on manufacturing that.
No, how it crosses over with, I mean, as long as you can put it in the same thing and it's not like a different front grille, I guess. Sure. But but like, man, it's like, this is getting real close to like the 4Runner price point wise, even size wise, like, but Toyota's always kind of been like that. It's a Highlander, it's a 4Runner. Now it's going to be a Land Cruiser, but I'm excited about it because I think the Land Cruiser is just epic.
It's a really dope look. It's a little bit narrower but it's a nice stance.
No, it's
I will
wider.
say if
it's wider.
It's wider. Wait, it's wider
than the current one.
Right? Yeah. But if you haven't gone and watched the video, like, it's funny because it's kind of a retro car, but the announcement video is like pure rock and roll.
Oh,
it's
I didn't
really,
even
really
see it.
fun.
I gotta
yeah,
go
like
see
the
it.
way they brought him in through this garage thing and like staged them. It was really, really neat. So I'm excited about it. I've never been like a big Land Cruiser type fan, but I feel like this like meeting old with new type feel and vibe is it's just a really fun truck. So
yeah,
see how
I never was either until I bought this one. Some people might know I bought it from Gary Vaynerchuk. It was his Land Cruiser. It's got like 260,000 miles on it.
Running
you
like
were in it. You were in it last week. You're like, this
running
thing
like
runs.
It's got 10K. It's unbelievable.
It's unreal.
Yeah.
It's unreal. Speaking of, what do we do?
There should have been a good transition.
There really is. Well, from
not.
one legend to another.
I don't
know if this one's as quite legendary as a Land Cruiser.
In a bold move to redefine its online retail identity, Overstock.com CEO Jonathan Johnson revealed his jealousy.
Wait, is his name John Johnson for real?
Jonathan Johnson. They've decided to adopt the name of a well-known competitor. So if you didn't remember, just a couple months ago, Overstock acquired the digital assets of the then bankrupt Bed Bath & Beyond, and has since made a full transition to its iconic brand, signaling a significant shakeup in the e-commerce home goods sector. If you go to overstock.com, it's not overstock.com anymore. That thing redirects right over to bedbathandbeyond.com. There is a little bit of, I've been to bedbathandbeyond.com and Overstock. They definitely they've done a little bit in the design to kind of like meld the two and make, the recommendation engine feel more like Overstock, but the stocking and the kind of look and feel look more like Bed Bath and Beyond. So basically, Overstock historically has just been a clearance sale, kind of the Overstock place where, they would buy large stock of Overstock and then resell it at cheaper prices. And so they're trying to reposition their brand as like a premium first stock home goods store. Now, this is what's wild. Old Bed Bath & Beyond customers can still utilize up to $50 of their rewards points on this revamped website. So it's like, all your coupons all coming over. You got over. It's just this like whole meld mashup of home goods. And I think we were talking yesterday. It's like kind of like Marshall's, TJ Maxx, but for homes, and Overstock, but it's Bed Bath. It's like this whole mashup of things. But it's actually like I was looking on it yesterday. Just the site in general was actually pretty easy to navigate.
Pretty good.
So
well, if Kyle says it's easy to navigate, that's
in my
mind. That's passing with flying colors because he's a little particular the way site's supposed to work, and rightfully so. I'm going to wrap all three of these articles back. This last one talks about brand and the power of brand moving into something people expect, into what something people already know, right? The reason the brand has power and the experience has power is because both companies have executed to that. They mashed them up together, right? And you're thinking like, okay, now everything works together. Toyota Land Cruiser, the reason why they can come back so strong is because what they had built on the brand platform already has an expectation and a desirability to it. So when the new one comes out, it's just going to sell. Go all the way back up to the first story. We're talking about the unions, and we're talking about the OEMs, and we're talking about them trying to work out the differences. And that might lead to a stoppage of new vehicle supply. We're no stranger to that. We're just getting back on our feet. But if you are a dealer, you can do a lot on a regular basis to make that a non-factor. I mean, it'll always impact you a little bit, but every day, what is the perception of your store? What is the perception of working in your store? The experience on your website? You have so much you can do about those things that frankly, you don't have to worry that much about the other things if you're focusing on the right things. And there's a place that you can do that It's called ASOTU CON.
Yo,
It's coming up.
hit them with it, baby.
Like,
Give it
yeah,
to
we're
'em.
talking about it because we truly believe the best thing for you to do with you and some of your people is to just be there with us for 48 hours to change this industry. So get out there and love some people and build some brand too.